Here's Thompson v. Smith. And you see people in these law communities that, especially the right to travel group, they use this case as their evidence of a fundamental right to travel, right? So they say it's a Supreme Court case. It's not a United States Supreme Court case, okay? It's a Supreme Court of Appeals of Virginia, which is the High Court of Virginia. Now, does this case say you have the right to travel? Yes. And the thing they like to quote is way, way down this list. Okay. You gotta go all the way down. Here's the opinion. Let's see. Right here. The right of a citizen to travel upon the public highways and to transport his property thereon in the ordinary course of life and business is a common right, which he has under his right to enjoy life and liberty, to acquire and possess property, and to pursue happiness and safety. It includes the right in doing so to use the ordinary and usual conveyances of the day. Now, this case was in 1930. So, what was the usual conveyances of that day? And under the existing modes of travel includes the right to drive a horse-drawn carriage or wagon thereon, or to operate an automobile thereon for the usual and ordinary purposes of life and business. It is not a mere privilege, like the privilege of moving a house in the street. Why would that not be a privilege? That would be a 100% privilege. That would have to be permitted. Why? If you're moving your house, you're blocking the street. Operating a business stand in the street, again, same thing. Or transporting persons or property for hire along the street, which a city may permit or prohibit at will. That's where they stop. They quote that and think that's the end of it. Plus, they're using it out of context because it is not a U.S. Supreme Court case. They think this case gives them all this authority. See, we have the right to travel. It's not the United States Supreme Court saying this, but the Supreme Court of the United States has upheld the same thing. They never go past that. The very next section, the exercise of such a common right, the city may, under its police power, regulate in the interest of the public safety and welfare, but it may not arbitrarily or unreasonably prohibit or restrict it, nor may it permit one to exercise it and refuse to permit another of like qualifications under like conditions and circumstances to exercise it. So the very case they're using, one, they're saying, it United States Supreme Court case, which it's not. Um, they never pay attention to the very next part. The very next part tells you exactly what I've been telling people. Yes, you have the right to travel, but the government has the rights under public safety to regulate it. And what does most of these people do? What I've said before. The Bible says in the last days there would be iniquity. That word iniquity is lawlessness. People don't want to respect the law. I shouldn't have to get a license. Okay, well, you're right, you shouldn't. But instead of worrying about whether or not you got to have a license, why don't you learn how to do business with the government, since really that's what it is. Just saying.